Talking about today.
Well, I want to kind of continue, even though I know it's the same subject we talked about last time.
Harangue.
But I'm so pissed off,
Ah,
and it's
good.
getting worse.
Oh,
And I think people need to realize the governors are not on your side. They want lockdown to continue, and
well, a bunch of them do.
they keep inventing more and more shit, not to let you free, but to keep you in lockdown.
They want the world.
I'm really sick of this lockdown, and I don't see the government structure doing anything. And what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going
No,
to
the
happen.
Donald isn't doing very
No,
well.
nobody
either.
is. Let me tell you what's going to happen. I've studied this
All right.
for a long time.
Lay it on us.
The governor and all across the country are going to start having more tests done. And who's already waiting in the wings to give them tests? The Rockefellers.
Hand them the test. Yeah,
The Rockefeller Foundation
boys.
has just come
Yeah.
out with this COVID-19 testing plan.
Oh,
Let's see what the
good.
Rockefellers' legacy is. Big oil, big ag, banking, big pharma.
Big pharma.
Oh, that's oil.
lot of
That's Mr. Rockefeller. Boy, we can really trust them, can't we? And they're the ones that are out there ready to give government testing.
The oil weapon, the food weapon, the drug weapon.
But what's going to
Gotta be on my
happen
nose?
is the test results are going to go way up
Sure.
because more people are getting tested, and most people are walking around with the flu anyway, and because it's yeah.
We all have coronaviruses of
So
various.
then you-
There's a gazillion coronaviruses. Every one of us has been exposed to bunches of them. So a lot of us will test positive. I'm sorry.
So then the
It doesn't mean we
positive
have
rates
the
are-
disease.
They're going to go up, and then more projections are going to happen. More deaths are going to come from the projections, and they're going to say, "Oh, I'm so
Are you
sorry."
armed? Are you armed?
I'm so sorry, but I think I'm going to have to extend this sheltering because the numbers are going back up, and we're in danger again. Meanwhile, we're fucking starving. Humanity needs to stop looking at them and start looking at yourself. You're the one going along with this horseshit. If I had a business, I'd declare it open tomorrow. And if they want to come and arrest me, arrest me.
My business is open. I don't have one.
You know?
The Titmouse Museum, Art Museum is open.
Yeah.
I
And-
am open for business.
One of the things
don't know.
I talked about, and we talked about a little, and I want to put it out there to everybody, it's called the potluck protest, which basically says invite some friends over, have a meal,
Potluck.
forget the mask,
Yeah.
forget this you can't hug, you can't touch or do anything, because
Leave your mask at home.
in the presence of your own home, in the privacy of your own home, you should be able to have some friends over.
Yeah.
Enjoy some camaraderie. Listen to music. Have a drink. Have a meal together.
Yeah.
Fuck this COVID shit. It's a bunch of crap anyway. If you look at the records in the state of Vermont, I think, I don't know, maybe Vermont Digger on April 22nd showed you the whole state by county.
Yeah.
47 people had died. 31 were in Chittenden County,
Yep.
and the rest were scattered. So 17 people were
One
scattered.
in Rutland County, my
Yeah.
county. One.
Yeah, my county.
And we don't know who he was,
And how old
or
they
she
were.
was, or how old they were, or
And-
whether heart disease
Right.
got him in the ass, or what happened.
Who knows? In my county, there was 2.
Yeah.
So let's see.
So what is this? This is a clown show. This is crazy, murderous bastards
So-
putting on a clown show, and all of our friends and neighbors are scared shitless.
Shitless.
Well, I'm pretty scared, but not of the clown show.
Of the
I'm-
fear.
Yeah, I'm scared of my neighbors' fear.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best.
They're afraid. These fools believe this shit, and they're going to be crazy soon.
Yeah. The big thing will happen in the fall. You can tell they're already predicting the second wave of COVID, so it's going to be bad.
Yeah, they figured out this.
This
They're
is-
going to lose this round for a couple of
So
months.
in the fall, when 5G
Yeah.
really gets turned on,
Yeah.
they can say it's all COVID.
Yep.
It's the second wave of
Yeah.
COVID. The beauty of this is the phone companies themselves have kind of done themselves in because they have 5G rollout maps, quite detailed. And I've written a paper on this. You can actually go to the street level and look at second G, third G, and 5G, or third,
Where
fourth,
the
and
towers
fifth.
are, literally.
And you can see if there's clusters of COVID, if there's also clusters of cell towers.
Yeah, and the underlying thing here, which no one has explained to you folks, is radiation sickness from increased radiation, which we think 5G is, in fact, we know it is, causes symptoms very much
Like the flu.
Like the flu. You get snotty, you lose your breath, your oxygen doesn't process properly.
You
and
cough, you get a fever.
Yeah.
Everything that COVID is talking about is also symptomatic of 5G. Radiation sickness. And no one wants to talk about it.
There's plenty of videos out there nailing it down.
And if your governor really gives a shit about your health, why isn't he investigating the possible link?
Can you goddamn believe? I mean, are we on? Is this Earth? Is this a movie? A clown show? A movie? Or can you believe that in reality
this is happening?
Businesses are closed, jobs are gone, meat packing plants are done, the economy's taking a
huge hit.
Huge doesn't quite describe it.
In Maine.
For what?
Yeah.
For what?
There's no emergency here.
We saw them. We saw some national figures last night.
And why aren't your governors saying there really is no emergency here? I'm taking all the restrictions off because I care about the people. And if they get it, they're going to get it.
You got to ask Governor Scott. Ask that gal, what's her name? Looks like well, we won't say. Where is she? Up in Michigan? That one.
Oh, yeah. And the governor of Maine.
Oh, yeah.
They just did a thing with her. What a tyrant she is.
Yeah. Total tyrant.
Yeah. And
complete warmonger tyrant.
And they're doing that in other states. They're taking this emergency power and they're actually rewriting laws to give themselves dictatorial powers.
Yeah, her legislature, what's her face, up in, I think it's Michigan.
Yeah.
Her legislature canceled the emergency. And she and I guess they did that in the form of a bill, which sounds stupid to me. And she wouldn't sign that bill. I mean, she's overriding her legislature.
So what can you do? I mean, I think there's a couple of things. One, I think the biggest thing we can do is ignore this and not be frightened. And
more Kahlua.
More Kahlua. Just go about our business and say, if I get COVID, I'll probably get better. It's not that lethal thing. And why are we wasting all this money and all this resource for something we're going to recover from?
We're actually not afraid. We are pissed off though.
Yeah, and if you take this to
you may depend on that.
If you take this to the spiritual level, if you take this to the quantum level, if you take this to the thing that, it's evil. We're fighting evil.
Yeah.
And the way to fight evil, you feed evil by being fearful, by being overwhelmed, and I'm sorry to say it, by being angry, which I am. You feed the monster by that. You don't feed, you feed us. You feed freedom, you feed integrity, you feed honesty, you feed peacefulness, abundance, and sharing the wealth by not paying attention to these people. The more we pay attention to them, the more powerful they get.
Bye-bye, Governor Scott.
I mean, the best thing we can do is say, I'm going to grow my own garden, even though you say seeds are not essential.
Oh, I'm doing that.
I'm going to grow my own food. I'm going to ignore this stuff.
My buddy Billy's been growing one forever. He's doing his again this year. I'm going to do one over here.
And I'm going to do the best I can to live a private, peaceful, non-invasive, non-hurting life.
Yeah. And I'm not going to wear my mask when I'm out in my house outdoors or on your street or in my fucking
And will you let me do that?
Garden.
Will you let me do that with a COVID rate of 2 probably 80-year-olds that died in my whole county and 1 that died in your county?
Yeah.
This is such obvious horseshit. There's no emergency here.
There is no emergency, folks. That's all baloney.
And if you accept the fact that there's no emergency, and you're not going to want to hear this, and you're not going to want to do that, you have to accept the fact that media and government and your governor don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, well, George Carlin pointed that out very effectively in a couple of his routines.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't give a shit about you at all. They don't care at all. At all. They're doing their own thing. They're putting the money in their pocket, and they love the power.
This is Nazi Germany. Can you imagine being arrested for going to a park and watching the sunset? I mean, is that fucking bad?
It's right out of a sci-fi novel.
When you said that, I mean, every once in a while, I have to shake myself, and say, "My God, this is really happening."
Yeah, they're actually doing this.
This is not some novel.
It's not a school play.
They're actually.
Well, it is actually a school play. That's about as sophisticated as it is.
It's just unreal that schools, I mean, if you look at the things that have been put in place for a virus that's not lethal and doesn't even add up, you have to say, wow, these people are either in it for money or they're controlled by evil. And the money thing works because the billionaires and the rest of us are not in the same world. I mean, one of the things
It could be just cuckoo.
one thing I wanted to say is, if you're a billionaire, $1 billion, and you spend $1 million a day, now how many people can spend $1 million a day? It's a lot, it's a shitload of money. But if you spend $1 million a day, it only adds up to 1/3 of a billion. And a lot of the people, I mean, think of that. And that's the class we're up against.
In a year.
Yeah.
A million a day every year, 365 million, is about 1/3 of a billion.
And a lot of these people, like Gates has 40.
And they can do that.
And they get it every year.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
and we get it in the rear.
Yeah,
every
so
year.
to think that we have a chance against these people, especially if we march to their orders. Well, every individual has 50 to 100 trillion cells. Trillion cells. If you match that up against money, you can take the Rockefeller money and the Rothschild money and the Gates money. It doesn't come up to one person's cell count. So if you really say,
and all those cells are electrical, folks.
right,
They're electrical.
they're affected
We're
by
electrical beings.
Yeah,
Wiring is electric. We're electrical beings. And probably we weren't designed to survive
being bombarded
in a
by
situation
radiation.
where electrical and radiation is everywhere.
Yeah.
That's probably not going to work well for us.
We'll see if this video has any legs because they're so outrageous. But
You got a tough job cutting this.
I know,
crop.
but there's no way you can look at this and say the only way we can win is if we take this to a spiritual plane, to a good and evil plane, because then it's trillions of cells against trillions of dollars, and we will win. And if we say it's evil fighting good, and we're all about good, and we're all about protecting humanity and feeding humanity,
I thought on the last tape I indicated I was done with being good. I went on to the evil side.
Oh well, yeah. So I don't know. It's but I don't know how else you can look at it. And if you look at how intricate our cellular communication system and how tiny a cell must be, I mean, think of a magnet and iron filings, and take magnet times it by 1,000,000. Don't you think the electromagnetic background might be a giant magnet? And don't you think our little cells might be influenced by it when you communicate? And don't you think
it makes sense to me, Chris?
Yeah, and don't you think that who's the guy that did the Visible? What was that book?
The Invisible Man?
No, it was maybe it wasn't Invisible, but he just came out with a book that Chelsea.
Rainbow?
The Rainbow. The Invisible Rainbow? Is that what it was?
Invisible Rainbow? Yeah, they're talking about the electromagnetic
You're right,
spectrum
and he's basically
how it
saying
affects living
every
things.
major electrical event has been followed by a major flu.
Yeah.
Remember, he said the radio was introduced, and then you had the
last dozen of them, and there've been a dozen.
Yeah. So I don't know. We won't go there. Maybe that's subject for another conversation. If we get to it, maybe it's too much detail. The other thing I want to put across is not only is this a joke, but it's being treated like the freaking plague. I mean, there's no statistical basis for this to be an emergency, but it's like, oh my God, he's not wearing his mask. Even though only 2 died in this whole state, and there were probably 8 in this whole county.
They'll call they'll call the police.
Oh, do you realize?
My neighbor's not wearing his mask.
And he had a party the other day, you know, and they weren't practicing sheltering. And
Doesn't have a mask on.
The best.
I got news for you, honey. He doesn't have a diaper on either.
All right. Yeah. But this isn't the plague. This isn't even it's nothing. It's nothing we should be.
Yeah.
More people die from other events, and who's shitting who? Your governor is not there to protect your health. If he was, when I went to testify with the Vermont legislature about 5G, they would have allowed to hear me. They're in the back pockets of the telecom industry. It's even been written up by Harvard. Harvard came out with a book called the.
Your legislators take money.
Yeah, well, they take money and they take being taken out to dinner, and if I could make a law, I'd eliminate lobbyists allowed in government tomorrow, and so that they have to listen to the people. But it's a money-driven everything, and the people that own everything are billionaires, and you got to realize what you're up against. So the only way to fight them, I think, is to go to another plane, which is a more spiritual, more ethereal, and that's what quantum is all about.
I like a plane. I like a fast plane.
Yeah.
I like it. Drop me down somewhere in Grenada, or a little island with coconuts and fish.
Yeah.
Warm seas.
Don't you think? I've been thinking about why do I want to get into a lockdown place?
Nice brown people who know how to play, know how to sing, know how to dance, know how to kiss.
Yeah, know how to have a good time.
Please, let's get real.
Yeah, and how many states? I think there's 11 states that have no lockdown, and they have not experienced any higher rate of death. And you have the whole country of Sweden. I
saw the numbers. It looks like they're a little higher than the others, but not much.
But not enough to have the whole country.
That's right.
And
the downside is lock your whole country down. Want to do that?
And
the
beauty of their logic, which makes sense to me, is if we lock everybody down and we shelter and we do all this stuff. Yeah. And then we let them out.
Santa Claus brings you
food. Let me finish.
Okay.
And then what's going to happen is when you open things up, people are going to start dying again because they built up no immunity because they've been in isolation.
That's right.
So if you open up the economy, you're going to build natural immunity, and that's part of Sweden's goal. Yeah, we may experience more deaths because people are building immunity to this thing.
You put the boy in the bubble, raise the bubble boy, and you got a bubble boy forever because anytime you take that bubble off, that boy dies. Because it has no immunity.
Especially if he's an older boy in the bubble. If he's an old man in the bubble.
My grandfather, Mike Peck, used to tell me, everybody eats a peck of dirt in their life. You got your fingers in your mouth, you got them other places, you're a kid, you're an adult, you're doing this, you're doing that. That builds your immune system. That is the only real protection that you have. It's a strong immune system.
Right.
You don't build it by wearing masks and social distancing and doing all this crazy stuff. You're killing people with that stuff. Right. You're killing people with that stuff. But not me. You didn't get me.